Because for context here for
Yeah,
viewers, there is a power up in your left hand. You can grab power ups as they come, and there's
yeah.
one where you get a trumpet. You have to kind of like hold it up, and you can blow little. What does it actually blow out? What are those? Is
Just
it
like
change in the level or?
it's just weird crap.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a lot of weird stuff. Hello, everybody. I am Harry from Upload VR, and I'm here with Matt, the from Mighty Games, the co-creator of
Crossy
Crossy
Road.
Road. Crossy Road. I was going to say Shooty Skies, but it is Shooty Skies as well. And of course, the
Shooty
new
Skies,
game
Crossy
is
Road. Yeah, yeah,
Shooty Skies, Crossy Road, and there's Shooty Skies Overdrive, which is coming to VR headsets very soon. Quest and Rift on July 2nd.
yep.
Probably by the time you're watching this, it's probably out now. And then the month after on Steam VR, on PC VR. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we
Beautiful.
pushed through the Oculus thing. We've got to we need to find a few more VR controllers to get the Steam version completely tested.
For those who don't know, vaguely, it is a wave shooter. You've got a little kind of airplane pilot in your hand, and you
Yeah,
move around and shoot things.
it plays with scale quite a lot. So as opposed to Space Pirate Trainer, where you're shooting things a very long way away, or Robo Recall,
Yeah,
everything's around you. Like you can reach out and touch, and in fact, chop with chainsaws and blow up with
yeah.
yo-yos. All the little crazy aliens that are flying around your head.
It always reminds me, weirdly, it when I was playing it, it reminded me of almost like kind of like a bullet hell, or like I don't know. I got
Yeah.
weird like Binding of Isaac kind of vibes, that kind of game, or Into the Gungeon, weirdly. Even though it's in VR, it's completely in 3D space and very different.
There
Um,
are a lot of bullets around, especially as
yeah,
you get through the different levels. If you've played on Overdrive and got up to the hell level, there are bullets
yes,
everywhere. As I think you can see in the trailer, we tried to capture just the insanity of it when things really get going.
yeah, it really, really does get going. And I wasn't actually expecting it to be
Mm.
as insane as it is. Because I went in, I've played a little bit, and I intend to play more today. And I've gone back now to, I think, normal difficulty. But I started
Yeah,
out on Overdrive. So I was like, let's get right
that's
into it.
careless. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
we
pretty
definitely don't
careless.
recommend people jump into Overdrive. Yeah,
No, but what I think, credit to you guys, which I was really impressed with, was that even on Overdrive in that first level, I mean,
mm.
there's for context of viewers, there's kind of checkpoints for each level, and you have to obviously get through the full thing before you can
Yeah,
move on to the next level. And even though I was like, I don't think I even hit the first checkpoint in Overdrive the first go, but just the fact that it didn't feel unfair or
mm.
nothing. It always felt like my fault, like I was like, okay, I need to pay more attention next time to make sure
Yeah.
I'm checking that something's not hitting me.
We
I'm
we
aware
worked
of my
super
surroundings. I
hard
thought that
on
was really clever.
We
Yeah,
worked super hard on that because the game it's quest first. Like that was our goal, was to make a quest game. And initially, we were talking about could we make this game in complete 360 and have bullets coming from behind you, or
yeah,
the bot could be like, hey, turn over here and fight us over here, and then turn over this
mm,
way. In the end, we made it more front facing, but the enemies can really come at you from the sides. But that happens more on Overdrive than it does on Chill, where it's a bit more of a focused. You
yeah,
can sit down and look around, experience. Overdrive, you have to be up and moving
yeah.
around and dodging all the
Moving.
bullets. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and one touch I really liked as well, because once I started to get through a few of those checkpoints and I was getting better and more familiar with things, my next immediate thought was like, what if I just physically lower myself underneath everything?
yeah,
But then everything adjusts as well. Like the
yeah.
enemies all lower themselves so that you can't
Mm.
really, which is useful as a tool in itself to kind of deal with things. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, you'll often be,
it's
putting your hand up to shoot above and then ducking down to get below it. It's
yeah,
definitely a strategy, and moving left and right, you want to keep at it. So as part of that, we did. I think I don't know of any other VR game that's done this, but we actually represent the Guardian in the game. So if you look down as you're
yeah,
playing, the squares indicate the area you can walk around, and once we put that in, it really changed the game up because you felt safe. You weren't gonna,
yeah.
prang into the wall. It was really good. Yep.
Yeah,
Happy with
that's
that.
something that I wish more games like this, of this
Mm.
style, where it's kind of like an arcadey kind of, you're in a set space, wave shooter or something like that, uh,
Yeah.
do more of, because it's really, and I
Mm.
noticed that immediately because I have kind of an odd-shaped Guardian, because I've got like my TV there and my lounge there and a piano and stuff.
Yeah,
So it's kind
I
of a
think
bit
most
more of a
people do.
rectangle.
Yeah,
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 exactly, as most people without a dedicated VR space do. So it was more of kind of like a rectangle with a bigger side, basically, a
yeah,
more kind of a weird environment. But I noticed, because you've got that little thing on that goes in the ground, that's really good to kind of um, mark your area. Do
Absolutely.
the enemies and stuff adapt as well to like if you've got a really small boundary, they'll reposition to work within the
No,
boundary, or is it more
no,
just
we
a
didn't have to
marker?
worry. We didn't have to worry too much about that. It's just about being safe to dodge. If
Yeah,
the game eventually moves to like AR or platforms where the environment is there, absolutely we would absolutely adjust the waves to make sure it takes into account the space you're in. But we didn't have to do that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Now, in terms of content too, I've played the first couple of levels. Is it 5 total kind of like environments slash levels in the
Mm,
campaign? Is that
yeah,
yeah,
that's
okay.
right.
And then
Yeah.
you've got 3 difficulties for each, the hardest of which being Overdrive in the title, right?
Yeah. The final one's
Yeah,
different because it's essentially entirely a boss fight. So it's not
right.
structured quite the same as that one, but
The same.
same as the
Yeah,
other 4. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and then there's a lot of pilots to collect in each one as well, like as well as just going through the level and playing it on the 3 difficulties. There's quite a lot of stuff to unlock. So it'll give you separate challenges, go back and unlock some more pilots. And the pilot
Yeah.
you use changes the power-ups you get. So you can, if
Oh,
you really
really?
like, yeah. So if you're really into the yo-yo or really hate the trumpet, you can pick a pilot that avoids it.
The trumpet,
Yeah.
the trumpet was distracting to me because I, it was really fun, but I found whenever I used it, I just ended up getting too distracted by it. Because for context here for
Yeah.
viewers, there is a power up in your left hand. You can grab power ups as they come, and there's
Yeah.
one where you get a trumpet. You have to kind of like hold it up, and you can blow little. What does it actually blow out? What are those? Is
Just
it change in the level or?
it's just weird crap.
Yeah, it's just a lot of weird stuff. It's blowing
Yeah.
out stuff at the enemies, but it's very distracting because you can kind of stop thinking about your gun hand and start like shooting with a trumpet, which is fun but very distracting.
The first
Yeah.
unlock we had for that level, the pilot gave you 60% trumpet, so that did not pass the test. We had to had to hide that pilot down the way a bit.
Down.
That was too
Okay,
much
it's
trumpet.
interesting. I didn't realize that the difference. So will certain pilots completely like, as in, is it just adjust the spawn rates, or will certain pilots
Yeah.
only give you certain power ups?
Adjust the spawn rates essentially.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. That's cool. I didn't realize that. Yeah. Okay. Because so far I've had the yo-yo,
Yeah.
trumpet. I haven't had the chainsaw yet. I love the vacuum. There's a
Yeah.
vacuum power up that vacuums up all the bullets. Very
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah, it's
Um,
very powerful. We had to reduce the timer on that one a little bit. It was
Yeah.
made it
I
pretty
can
easy.
see.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see that. I can see that. But the other thing I'm interested in is
I like the
everything.
pug.
Correct me if I'm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I like the pug,
Oh,
like shooting,
yeah,
like
the
that
pug.
you can
The
sort of
pug.
Yeah, you can
You
John
can.
Woo it. Like I shoot that one over there and that one there. It's a
Yeah,
lot of
you
fun.
can kind of have dual wielding type thing. That's true. I like that one too. The other thing I was going to say is, correct me if I'm wrong, but before
Yep.
this, all of the games from the studio are mobile games, right?
That's
Or
right. Yeah. Yeah.
almost. Yeah.
There's
So
yeah, mostly.
yeah, yeah. What made you guys? One, the first question I have is the entire team working on this VR game, or have you got new people in for VR? Like, have you all just
Yeah,
kind of
almost.
pivoted to this?
No, we didn't hire anyone specifically for VR. I was
Yeah.
an original DK1 backup. So the
Right.
first
Yeah.
I made a game years ago called Discovery, which was like a voxel first-person shooter type thing. I'm pretty sure you can't get a hold of it anymore. It was on itch for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I made Crossy Road as well, like one of the first things I did was put a VR camera on the on the chicken, and it was a little intense,
Right.
obviously. So I've been
Yeah.
looking for
Yeah.
a game that would fit this for ages. Like Oculus had I'd reached out to Oculus, and they were really keen to have Crossy Road on the platform. We haven't been able to figure out how to make it work. And then I played Zortex on the lab, and I was like, that is super cool, and that sort of thing would be a great fit for Shooty, because the Zortex in the lab is sort of this tiny, small experience hidden away. It lasts
Yeah.
4 minutes, but it's such a great like foundation for building a
Yeah.
wave shooter. So then, yeah, eventually Mighty became free, and I ended up sort of half funding the game. The other half is funded by Film Victoria. Oh, and
Yeah.
Mighty as well, of course. And then, yeah, that's the way it came along.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because it was interesting because I'd seen you guys and heard about you guys. I also was vaguely aware that you guys were in Victoria / Australia, and then when I got the email, I was like, oh, interesting, because I'd never kind of considered, because to me it's almost like you've got the same kind of style and stuff as well as Crossy Roads and obviously Shooty Skies and Mobile.
Yep.
but it is kind of like a perfect fit in that, which I, to be honest, wasn't expecting when I went in to play it. I wasn't expecting it to be such a good fit, but I really also like the way that the art style and that kind of boxy, pixelated style works in VR too. Especially on a
Yeah,
system like the Quest, where
see, I'd seen that before when I made Discovery like 5, 6 years ago. It was just
yeah,
like, oh man, the voxels look amazing in
yeah,
VR.
yeah,
We've got
yeah,
to do this
yeah,
someday, but it just took a
yeah,
long time to actually release anything. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, very cool.
The
Let me
other
check
thing
my.
about that is,
Okay, go on.
I'm sorry, the Quest is
No,
I mean, the Quest is a mobile device. It's an Android
yeah,
device. So
yeah,
the team has a lot of experience making sure we can, deliver a really well optimized game, which of course, mattered a huge amount because you have a lot of studios bringing, AAA and AA games down
yeah,
to the Quest. Some of them are great, and some of them don't fare so well. With us,
yeah,
we were taking mobile assets and to the Quest, so we could have, 1,000
yeah.
bullets on screen at once and not have the device melt off your face.
Yeah, that was my thought too, because I was kind of like, it's interesting because, like you said, a lot of studios start out developing for PC VR or
Mm,
other platforms, and then, or they're a PC team that is now working on VR, whether they're bringing an existing game or not, whereas
mm,
you guys, at least from my perspective, you guys are one of the first that I've kind of seen where you've got, a mobile team then who's
mm.
then kind of thinking out the Quest, which is
Well,
obviously a perfect fit because it's a
the
Quest,
room's
the
the other
Quest
big one,
mobile.
and fireproof. The room,
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
yes, that's true.
There
Yeah,
haven't been
I
that
remember
many though.
that.
You
Yeah.
did right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting now because we're starting to see people come. Because you said this was always, you said, you've been thinking about the Quest
Mm,
as a, you said it was Quest first.
yeah.
Um, Obviously, you've been in VR for a while, being a DK1 backer,
Mm,
but um, that's a nice little alignment of the planets that you've got to kind of, you work with a mobile studio and then the Quest has come along that suits it perfectly for that. But the other thing
yeah.
I was going to say too is the performance is really good on Quest. I was surprised with so many bullets. I've yet to run into any kind of um, performance issues, which is props to you guys because I thought with that many things on screen,
Yeah.
I'm almost like waiting for it. With my experience with other games, I'm almost waiting for it to kind of for a frame drop or something to happen. But it runs pretty flawlessly. It's quite amazing, and it looks fantastic as well.
Yeah, we definitely had to
Yeah,
work on it. Like the last few weeks of QA have been fun, just like trying to strip things down.
yeah,
We'd accidentally add a new shader and that would break everything. Yeah, it was
yeah, yeah.
tricky.
Developing for VR, you've obviously
Mm,
been around as we've covered for a while, but were
mm.
there anything that you kind of in the development process, as a predominantly mobile team, that you kind of challenges that you found developing VR, things about VR that you weren't expecting that became kind of more difficult, when you were designing the game or the concept or stuff like that?
Um, Hardware was interesting because halfway through development, COVID hit. So Mighty is a
Yeah,
studio that works from the studio. Uh,
yeah,
Hipster Whale has a lot more remote developers, but
yeah,
Mighty didn't. And so, all right, we now have to leave the office.
mm,
You get a Quest, you get a Rift,
yeah,
you sort of get this really old ancient hardware. No one could take the Vive with them because then
yeah,
you would have to put the lighthouses and stuff everywhere. That was
yeah,
that
right.
was an absolute challenge. Um, that we certainly weren't expecting having to share this hardware around, this limited hardware
Yeah,
that we had, because
that is
everyone has a phone,
interesting.
right? You can test it on all these devices. Here it's like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm building this, you have to test the ambisonic sound here, and yeah, it was
yeah, yeah.
challenging.
And I imagine too, as you were saying earlier, with the Steam and the different controllers, that's a whole nother
Mm,
challenge when you're working from home and have to test, X
yeah,
amount of controllers from home.
I'm lucky. I have quite a lot of VR equipment. I
Yeah.
have an original. I have a Quest, sorry, a Vive before, a Dev Vive.
Hmm.
So I have some of those old handsets, but just getting a hold of even like Windows Media controllers and things like that, they don't sell.
Yeah.
Like again, we're in Australia, they don't sell them
Yeah.
here, and the Valve
Yeah.
Index,
Even
they don't sell it
indexes,
here.
it doesn't.
Yeah,
It still shocks me. I always forget they don't sell the Valve Index here, and then I remember, and I've seen like Reddit posts of people jumping through hoops to get one shipped through
yeah.
America to here, and yeah,
And
very,
super
very.
luckily, Dave Tujviar, who did our virtual reality, our mixed reality trailer for us, has indexes, so he could fire it up. And yeah, that's not right. So we're fixing it up
Yeah,
at the
yeah, yeah,
moment. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Nice. Um, The other thing I was going to say too is post-launch. Is there any plans for post-launch content? Have you guys got kind of like a
Mm.
roadmap? Is there more stuff coming?
Yeah, we've got a 1.1 coming out. One thing we dropped from the final game was the arcade mode or the a high score mode. So
Yep.
Quest has an API, or there's leaderboards and stuff. So we're
Yes.
going to
Yep.
integrate with all of that. So that'll be coming um, through testing. Yeah, there's a few things coming down the pipe, but that's the major one is the
Yeah.
additional game mode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that like a kind of endless mode, just going until you kind of die thing?
We want it to be, if it's just endless as long as you die and nothing really happened, it's like however long you live is your score.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we
Okay.
want to add a bit of risk reward in there, make sure that players could up the difficulty or
Yeah.
get bonuses and things like that, multipliers. So we're still working on that at the moment to figure out the final list of features for that mode. Yeah.
The other thing that came to mind, just literally right now, think of games like Pistol Whip and stuff, and all the modifiers they have. Is something modifier something you guys consider? Because I can imagine you could have a lot of cool, fun, wacky modifiers for certain power-ups or difficulties. Or
we've not played with that yet. It was really interesting, Pistol Whip, because we had a bit of talking early on as to whether or not, if you've seen the trailer for the game, you're pretty clear you're standing there, you're kind of like King Kong-sized human with a plane in your hand, shooting down the stuff. We'd talked about locomotive, should the game world move, just like Pistol Whip does now. Eventually we decided, for comfort reasons, let's just keep it static, because you've played it. It's way more intense to play than it is to look in a video. I'm concerned that if you're moving along at the same time, we're going to lose our comfortable rating, and then maybe it's just too much. So, but then I saw Pistol Whip, and I'm like, oh man, we probably should have done it. Maybe for another level.
Yep. Maybe for another level. Yeah. It is. Yeah, that is an interesting point with the comfort thing, and also what you're saying with the how much more intense it is. I wrote we wrote the article saying it was coming out, and we've got a hands-on up as well. But in the hands-on, I was like, I found it really hard to express like how hectic it felt playing the game. Like you can watch a video and go, okay, I get the general premise, which is what I did when I saw that trailer before I went in. But you've really got to duck, and it's a bit not jarring, but at first you kind of, things are coming at your head and you're like, oh yeah, I'm used to stuff like Pistol Whip or other games where the head is the target. And then I was like, no, I can kind of duck and move my hand, and you get used to it very quickly. But it's hard to convey how hectic it can be, especially like that in the bit when I got to. I don't think I finished the first level in Overdrive, but I got to the last bit with the Space Invader machine, and that on Overdrive, that's the mid boss. Yeah, that's mid boss. Okay, yeah. And I was just like, on Overdrive, I was like, I was starting to put things together, but it was just so hectic and having to move around and move things. But great fun.
Yeah, with malware, it produces this huge grid, so you've got to just fit your hand through the exact,
and getting the grid
through the exact spot. Yeah.
Do different pilots have different hitboxes in terms of like getting it? No. Okay.
No, nothing's different to the others. It's interesting with the we haven't talked much about the power-ups with the, like with most games you're sort of just shooting. With ours, you have to, it's kind of like pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time, like that, layering that on the number of enemies on screen, because you're sort of trying to use a yo-yo or a extendable chainsaw. You have to concentrate quite a lot.
It is a good I really like that it looks, it's one of those things where it's like easy to understand but really difficult to master, because you start, especially with the power-ups, as you said, you start using them, and like I said with the trumpet, you just want to get distracted and start blowing things with the trumpet, and then I'm like, no, I've got to watch out for my right hand too, because that's really what's at risk here. But definitely, I think you guys have kind of nailed the balance between hard and feeling difficult but not feeling unfair, which is good, because there's a lot of games that don't do that, and you feel kind of ripped off or annoyed.
You have to be very clear in this game, like how you've been killed. So that was a problem we worked through. So we definitely spent some time on making sure the player knows what happened. Yeah.
Well, congrats to you and the team.
Thanks.
Obviously,
really looking forward to the release.
Yes, I know. So by the time this video comes out, I imagine it will be out for Quest and Rift on Oculus. So check it out if you haven't, and there'll be a review up on the site. But thanks for joining me, Matt. Nice to talk to someone in the same time zone for once.
Same accent. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I'm so used to Americans or UK at weird times. Nice to have someone in the morning and be right time zone. So Thanks for joining me. Shooters, guys. You can check it out and all the other stuff on uploadvr.com. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks. Thank you.